Hello and welcome back. Now today I want to go back over some information I've given you before about altering your own energy and the energy in your space, your personal space. At the moment, the world is filled with very heavy energy. It can seem a little bit overwhelming, a little bit depressing. You feel like all the efforts that enlightened people around the world are making to uplift the planet are failing, but in actual fact we're succeeding. We're succeeding so well that we're releasing more and more and more of the dense 3D energy, and it's just all this old energy is breaking free, coming back to the surface, being felt in a big major way, being seen in the effects it's having in the world, and it's if not understood for what it is, it could really bring us down, which is to defeat our purpose, because we're here to lift others up and ourselves. We're here to transmute the dense energy, to let it sort of pass through us, to see it, to feel it, to work through it, to release it, to bless it, to transmute it. I got lovely energy there. So here's your task, and it's not as easy as it sounds. It sounds very straightforward, but actually it's much harder to do in practice. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. Now you can start as small as you like. You are being exposed to issues on every level of society, issues within family, within your household possibly, within your work environment, within your town, within your country, with your governments. You're seeing things on the news. It's all very bleak, terrible, dramatic earth shifts and awfulness happening in the world. And I'm sorry to depress you. It's not, you've got to kind of look beyond that to what's actually going on, and it's because we've got this shift taking place, and there's a higher vibration wanting to come in, and there's all this dense energy, old 3D energy, pulling it back down. And the only way you can clear the old 3D energy is to release it, because if you can imagine this situation, something awful happens to you, and you kind of process it at the time that it happens, and so you kind of shut it away, you push it down, you close it off, you pile things on it, and you refuse to deal with that painful situation, memory, whatever. You don't process it. It's just locked into you. It's actually locked into the very cells of your body, and it will haunt you for the rest of your life. You're going to be affected by what you're carrying about in your body, in your energy field, it will affect how you interact with other people. It will affect your joy. It's just there. It's always there, and that's why a lot of people now are starting to go to counsellors, or receive therapy, or do their own self-work, and they're going back to very painful, awful things that really impacted them in their earlier lives, and they are looking at it all and pulling it all out and feeling those emotions, and working through them, maybe seeing them from a different perspective, seeing the factors involved, seeing it with an older, wiser head, and sort of in their own way, writing letters to people that are long gone, and burning them and blessing them and releasing them, or planting seeds, or burying things, or just doing whatever, journaling, or ways you have of making remedy to that situation, for finding your peace around it. Okay, so we're all doing that on a personal level, which means we're all having our little struggles, within our own personal lives. We're all working very hard to address anything we may have pushed down from this life, and we're also doing it, if you can imagine, we're working through past life stuff that we may not consciously be aware of. We can be doing that in the dream state. We can be doing that in meditations. We can be doing that in repeat situations that are coming up in this lifetime. There's a hell of a lot going on at the minute, which is why we're also exhausted and confused and a little bit lost about directions to take and such. It's just we're being hit because no sooner do you process one thing, if you successfully clear that from your energy field, from your cells, from your ancestry, from your past lives, whatever it is, as you successfully work through stuff, you are increasing your vibration and you're functioning on a much higher level, and you're experiencing life in a very different way. Things are shifting with you as you process stuff and grow. You're literally, you're in the process of self-development. You're developing yourself, you're growing, and you're experiencing life in a whole new way. And while that's all going on a larger scale, that's what's happening in the world. There's so much awfulness. It would get you down if you get drawn into it. That's your first task. Don't get drawn into it. You can be supportive, but don't dwell on things. Don't fret about things you can't help change, on a day-to-day level. You can definitely donate money or help out in a charity fashion, send good wishes and healings to people. But if you get depressed about situations and overwhelmed by situations, you're drawing in your energy field, you're lowering your own personal energy, and you're attracting into your life bad stuff that matches your mood. And so when you find yourself in this kind of downward spiral, you have to stop it and just work with me here, okay? Just try out some suggestions that I've got. I'm wondering if that fan is bothering you. I've got a fan on. Sorry, you zone out on noises, but I thought it might be affecting the video. Apologies. So you're in this downward spiral, feeling overwhelmed, being hit with bad luck that's magnetising into your life. Your car breaks down, or your hours get cut at work, or prices of fuel goes up, and it's like the world is squeezing you and squeezing you and squeezing you, and you've got no more left to give. Now, what I want you to do when you're in that situation, which many of us are in and have been in, is I want you to sort of step back from it. I want you to tie up all that garbage and put it in a little box and stick a lid in it and put a very heavy stone on it, metaphorically speaking. And then I want you to open up the windows and doors and go out into the garden, or close the windows and doors and light candles and play music, or put on an old black and white movie and cry your eyes out at the happy ending, or cook a family feast and get some people over and celebrate. You got to scratch the record, you got to break the pattern, and you got to keep on doing it. You cannot allow yourself to be depressed and living in misery and unhappiness and overwhelm and feeling you have no power in your life, because you're an almighty being and you have the power to manifest into your world all your most glorious dreams, everything you ever wanted. You can call it to you, or in the very simplest form, you can call to you joy, happiness, love, feeling blessed, gratitude. Very small things. You can start it in as small or as big a way as you wish. First, you have to get your focus off of anything bad that's going on. If you're about to be evicted, or you're about to get sacked, or you've got no money left in the bank, whatever awful thing is in your life that's really attempting to drag you down and shut you down, you have to put it to one side, and then you have to go and open yourself up, because only by opening your energy up and lifting your energy and raising it up can you put yourself in a zone where good things can start happening. And if you can do this more of the time than not, your problems will dissipate. They will go away. Things will somehow resolve. It seems like by magic things will just fade away and you will be okay. The faster this happens is how fast you can switch your brain from kind of depressed place that we get into, this a stuck groove situation, and move it on to potential. Look at potential, because as soon as you have a thought about something you desire, that thing starts to form. And you are, at the moment, your focus might be on all the stuff you don't want. I don't want to be skint. I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to get sacked. And all your thoughts are going on to these negative aspects of your life. And you might be lying awake at night worrying about them. And you're actually manifesting them. The more you think about something, that even if it's I don't want this thing, then the more it will come into form and take shape and come into your life. So you have to stop giving your focus and your thoughts and your energy to anything that you don't want more of. And you have to shift your thoughts and your focus and your energy to good stuff that you want to bring into your life. You have to, you can do this in several ways. It can be harder. It's not always easy to do. So you have to shift your focus. I can remember one time in my life I was in a very bad place. I've been in many very bad places in my life, and this was one of the worst. It nearly broke me, and I was on my own with my two children in a strange place I'd never lived before, in an empty house with no money, and the responsibility and the weight and the overwhelm of all of that just was flattening me. I was really, really low. But, you know, I got up the next day and I got the kids off to school, and I did all the things, and I had no money at all. I was living on fumes. But I saw this little bit of painting in a very cheap shop, one of these, a wee cheap shop. Could have been a charity shop. It was a picture of two angels. It was like the old-fashioned scraps, and I really loved it. And when I looked at it, it was a few pounds, and I thought, I'm going to buy that picture. And I bought it and I put it over my mantelpiece, and the whole room was deserted. It had sticks of furniture, but I had this beautiful picture of these two angels, wee cherubs. And at night I used to sit and just look at that picture, and I thought, I'm going to blank out all this other grim stuff around me, and I'm going to put my focus there, because that's the seed of where I'm going. And over time I would buy a little crystal or a little candle, or you know, a little flower thing or some kind of knickknacks, and I started to put these little knickknacks about the house, and I made them the focus of my energy when I was in those rooms. I wouldn't look at the walls needing painting or the mould or any of the things. I would look at the beauty in those little things, and it really helped get my mind off of where I was and on to where I was heading. And I turned my whole life about, and I overcame all those challenges I had, and I became quite successful within quite a short span of time. I had a job, I had a home of my own, I was buying my own property, and I was happy, and my house was filled. I always, to this day, I still try and do it. I put beautiful things that speak to me about my house, so that, you know, if life throws something at me, I can shift my focus onto something inspiring, an inspirational thing, or I can read an inspirational thing, or listen to beautiful music. You know, there's you have to shift your focus, and even in that seemingly innocent, you know, you're not doing anything. Shifting this energy is not about doing, it's about being. You have to be happier, you have to be loving, you have to be grateful, you have to be, you know, experiencing these states of awareness and bliss. Sometimes I get struck, it just comes out of the blue. I just get hit by a realisation of how happy I feel. And I'm not in the happiest of situations quite yet. I'm still a work in progress here. I'm still working towards my ideal situation, but in the meantime, I'm happy. I can find happiness even amongst the challenges that are going on around me. I can find happiness in my children's laughter, or a silly old soapy movie, or the cat coming by and doing something daft as cats do. I can find happiness in a lovely meal they make, or some kind of story someone tells you. There's happiness to be found. There's success to be found. I do a lot of little dabbling in creative things, and it gives me great joy. It's very simple. I do my spiritual work, and it gives me great joy, and I can feel surrounded by bliss. I get the most loving energy for the spirit world. If you can shift your focus from the stack of unpaid bills, or the whatever's threatening your life, or whatever's happening in your life, or ugly people doing ugly things, if you can shift your focus, sitting in the sunshine, doing things that don't have to cost money, singing songs to yourselves, or writing poetry, or just find whatever works for you. Some people play guitar, some people play other instruments, some people whittle, or build things, or fix things. You have to find your strengths and what calls to you and what gives you joy. You really got to hunt out your joy if you want to get out of these situations. And you've got to think about the stuff you're creating, or cooking, or just doing well. You might be gardening. It's free. It's just your hands, you're weeding, or you're watering, or something. There's very simple things that will take you out of that place in your mind and put you in a more kind of fertile place, where the things you dream about in your quiet moments can drift into your mind and start to take form. Make a dream book. Paint pictures of what you're after. I love to daydream about my someday house, where I will live, and how it will be, in the sun coming in the little chair, and the big kitchen table. I love to dream about that house. I'm always in that house. I'm calling that house to me. One day I'll have that house. But the happiness of visiting it in my mind really helps me with my day-to-day struggles in this life. I can think, oh, today's too much to handle. I think I'll just go sit in the garden and think about my house. And I can lose myself, and what I do in doing that is I move my energy, and then I might notice how beautiful the sun is, or hear the birds, or a little robin will come and land next to you, or butterfly flies past, or the cat's rolling about in the grass, and your focus shifts on to just very, very simple things. But these simple things elevate your mood. They might make you smile, or you find yourself laughing. The other day I laughed, one of those laughs that you got tears coming out your eyes, and it was just over something stupid that probably wouldn't be funny to anybody else, but I really needed it, and I recognised that at the time. I thought, I've really needed to laugh like this, because I don't do it often enough, and none of us do. So if you can find anything, splashing kids in a paddling pool, or your dog or something, running by the river, playing games, be more childlike. Try and find that person that's inside you that you've pushed down and suppressed and not allowed to flourish. If you want to sing, sing. If you want to play music, play music. If you want to paint, paint. If you want to garden, garden. Sewing, creation of any kind helps manifest our dreams. So you need to, whether it's food, or growing things, or making things, writing, if you can find something, an outlet for your creative abilities, you will ground what you're calling to you, because it will filter in, it'll be there in every, you know, in the words that you write, or the lay of things. It comes into form. You're giving something form, and it's symbolic, and it shows you have ability to change things in your life, and it will show you that you have the abilities to succeed and to achieve things that give others joy. There's so much stuff out there, songs that people create, or paintings people make, or meals people cook, that give joy to themselves and others around them. I put things up on the wall, they give great joy to me. You may or may not give joy to anyone else, I don't know. I would like to hope so. I give gifts to people. I share insights with people. You just got to do your own, in your own little way, as much as you can do, to change and uplift your own life and the lives of those about you. One of the quickest ways to shift your own mood is to help someone else shift theirs. I've got several children here living with me, and a couple of children not living with me, and you know, reaching out to children and other family members and just helping put a smile on their face, or helping them feel better about a situation. At the end of it, you're filled with this light that's come from somewhere, that's actually lifted your whole mood, and whatever problems were bothering you are gone, because your focus is shifted to someone else and helping them. So that's an easy way you can volunteer, or you can just you know, shift your focus off yourself and onto somebody else, and that will help move this energy, this unstuck energy. If it's still sticking about, do some journaling. At first it'll feel very awkward, it won't flow at all, and then as you carry on doing it, stuff will come out. You know, things from your past, worries about your future, messages from spirit will drift in between your words, and at the end of it, something will have shifted. So you've got to be creative in how you tackle this, but you definitely have the power to get out of that little tight vibrational space that many of us can get drawn into when life looms up with some god awful thing, a situation, you know, which is genuine in itself. But if you don't want that situation to stay or to grow, you have to move your own energy. You have to do it as quick as you can. You have to make it your top priority, because until you get your own energy flowing and moving and unblocked and growing and glowing, that situation is not going to get resolved. It could even grow and get worse. So those are my tips. It's make a bit rambling, but listen to it. Something will spark for you. And if you can begin with your little picture on the wall, or your little bit of journaling, or your little daydreams, or you know, getting out in the garden, whatever it is that speaks to you about how you can go and do it, I give you permission to stop worrying about your life and all the problems that you've got. I give you permission to give it like 5 minutes in the morning and think, is there anything I can actively do today about this? And if there's not, then I deny you permission to think about it anymore. Instead, I want you to turn and look at your life and see what positive things you can do to make your focus. And if that might be lying in bed, you know, watching 10 shows on Netflix or something, if it shifts your mood, do it. You know, if you want to eat a bucket of ice cream, if it shifts your mood, do it. But I think a lot of that kind of stuff is more of the pushing down situation, and actually you want to be doing something more positive. So I'll take those words back. You want to be actively changing your focus, actively doing, making, being stuff of a more joyful nature. And as you can try and remember this in your life and do it more and more and more, you will find that you like me, you know, when you notice, oh, I feel really happy, and I'm not really sure why I'm happy. I've got no good reason to be happy, but I feel really happy. You'll notice your mood lightening, and your energy is growing, and you're uplifting, and you will start to attract solutions and positive things into your life, your world will change. It will just change your world. You have to do it. Make it a practice. Sticky at first. Don't worry about it. Every second, Abraham Hicks says, 17 seconds of a positive thought is enough to change the energy, to sort of add to this, you know, to shift you out of the negative and into the positive. So 17 seconds, we can manage it whenever it comes to your mind. Shift your focus with music, with whatever works for you, and make a point, actively do it. Don't be complacent, don't be like under the duvet worrying problems to death. Get out the duvet, have a shower, get off for a walk, do something, whatever's in your power to do, do that. And it will impact you. You will find it bit by bit by bit, sometimes quite quickly. You will find the situation resolves and you're out of it, and better things are happening, a more positive flow of energy is taking place. I hope that's helped you. I'm a bit rusty on making my videos. I will get better again, but I would like to say God bless to you all, and I wish you all the best. Take care.